Hi everyone, my name is Zandile and welcome to Statistics. Please don't skip this intro as it is very important. This video covers everything that you need to know to get a minimum of 60% and above in this section of the paper. It is very important that you watch the video in order. Why? Because as we move along, we're going to come across some concepts that I've already explained earlier in the section. So I won't be going deep into them again. They've already been broken down properly before. So there is no need to repeat as already I've explained it in a deeper sense. Now, if you're currently sitting below 50%, I highly recommend that you start with Solve for X, not because I want to discourage you, but because this section is foundational. And if you understand Solve for X, trust me, everything is going to be easier. And again, in this video, if we come across anything that is related to Solve for X, I'm not going to go deep into it as I'm going to assume the fact that you already know the knowledge. Hope that makes sense why it's very important to basically start with Solve for X. And again, Solve for X is a foundation of every topic because you're going to come across it in every topic that we're going to do from now on, right? So now the video breakdown. The video is going to be divided into 4 sections. Section 1, measures of central tendency. Section 2, measures of dispersion. Section 3, data representation. And Section 4, correlation and regression. This video is pretty long, so to help you out, I've added timestamps in the description. You can use them to jump to specific parts if needed. Again, right? Just very important. Only use it to jump into sections if you already know the fact that the previous sections you already understand. If you don't understand, make sure the fact that you go in order. As I said, the fact that everything is a build up. Hope that makes sense, right? So with that said, we can start with the video.
Now let's do statistics, right? So we're going to first start with the mean. A mean is what? Is an average. What you call this is an average. So basically you're going to sum up all the terms, then you're going to divide it by the number of terms. And this is the formula how the mean is, right? It makes sense when you do an example of it, right? So it's also known as X bar. Okay? So here it says what? It says, so let me just take my pen. It says, what is the mean of the data? So as I said, the fact that X bar, right, is equals to summing all the terms. So in our case would be X1 plus X2, right, plus till what? Till, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till X5. Then we're going to divide it by what? By the number of terms. As I said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 5 terms. So it's going to be the same as saying X bar is equals to what? You don't need to write this formula. Just know the fact that you sum all the terms, right, divided by the total. So it's going to be 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40, right, plus 50. And that's going to be divided by how many terms are there? It's 5, right? So by starting to your calculator, you're going to have that it's going to be 10, right, plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50. And that's going to be divided by 5. So your mean is going to be equals to 30. So that's how you would find your mean. So now we're going to move to median, right? Median is what? The median is the data. The median of a data set is the value of the central position, right? When the data is set, has been set arranged from the lowest to the highest. So with the median, I'm just going to tell you what you need to do. First, you're going to get your data set. Then after getting your data set, you're going to rearrange your data set from smallest to what? To biggest. Then from there, you're going to find the middle term. As I said, the fact that everything makes sense when we do an example. So we're going to first do an example where we find the median of how many terms? Of odd terms, right? So the total terms here are odd. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 terms, which is odd, right? So first remember the fact that we need to rearrange our set from smallest to biggest. So we're going to have 1 here. So this is going to be 1, right? So that's sorted. Then the next term here is going to be 2. So that's sorted. The next term here is going to be what? So it's going to be 1 is 2. The next smallest term is 10. So that's sorted, right? Then the next term here is going to be what? It's going to be 14. And that's sorted, right? So 14 is going to be here. Then we're going to have 68, right? So we're going to have 68. So that's sorted. Then we're going to have what? We're going to have 86. So that one is sorted. Then we're going to have 99, right? So that's how our terms are going to look, right? So now to find the middle term, how many terms do we have? As I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So it's 7 terms. So we know the fact that n is equals to 7. So to find the median, you're just going to say n divided by what? It's going to be 7 divided by 2, right? So to find the median, it's going to be n divided by 2. So it's going to be basically the formula is going to be n divided by 2. The total number divided by 2, which is in our case, is going to be 7 divided by 2, which is going to give us what? Going to be 7 divided by 2. You're going to get your value as 3,5, right? So it's going to be 3,5. So you're going to ignore this 0.5. Then you're going to count 3 terms going this side and 3 terms going this side. The one that's not counted, right, is going to be your median. So let's do that. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, right? Then it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So do you see the fact that this is your middle term? So your median real is equals to what? Is equals to 14, right? So that's how you will do it. Now we're going to find the median of even terms, right? Again, we need to arrange what? We need to arrange our data. So it's going to be 1, which is going to be here sorted. Then it's going to be what? It's going to be 2. So that's sorted, right? So then the next term is 10. Then it's 11. So that's sorted too. Then it's 14. So that's sorted. Then it's what? Then it's 68. So that's sorted. Then it's going to be 86, sorry. This is going to be 86. So that's sorted. Then it's going to be 99, right? So this one is sorted, right? So now to find your what? To find your median, as I said, it's n divided by 2. So what's our n? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that n is equals to 8. So it's going to be 8 divided by 2, which is going to give you 4. So you're going to count this direction, which is you're going to end at 4, then this direction. Then since this is even, right, it's an even number, you're going to take where you end at those 2 and divide it by 2, then that's how you're going to get your median. So let's do that. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to end here. Then here's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to end here. So basically what it means is that your median is here. It's in between 11 and 14. So to find that, we're just going to take 11 plus 14. So it's going to be median is equals to 11 plus 14 divided by 2, which is going to give you what? If you say 11 plus 14, right, divided by 2, you're going to get your answer as being 12,5, which makes sense. 12,5, it's definitely between where? Between 11 and 14. And that's how you will find the median if you are given what? Even terms. Now we're going to go and talk about mode, right? The mode of a data set is the value that occurs most often in the data set, right? The mode can be described as the most frequent or the most common value in the data set. So the one that, the one that appears a lot is called the mode, right? So now let's do an example. So in our case, we see the fact that we need to determine the mode of this data set, right? We see the fact that 2, right, occurs how many times? It occurs 1, 2, let's go down and check. So it occurs 2 times, right? Then we see the fact that 3 occurs how many times? Do you see the fact that it occurs once? So that's sorted. We see that 4 occurs how many times? 1, 2, 3, right? So we see the fact that it occurs 3 times. Then we see the fact that 6 occurs how many times? It's 1, 2, so it occurs 2 times. Then we see that 7 occurs once, right? We see that 8 occurs twice, right? Then 10 occurs 2 times 2, right? So which one, looking at here, this is called the frequency, right? So this is the frequency. Which one appears the most? Do you see the fact that 4, and I'm just going to highlight it. Do you see the fact that 4 appears the most, right? So your mode here is what? Is equals to 4, because it's the one that appears the most. And that's how you would do this question. So now we're going to move to standard deviation, right? You really don't need to know the formulas for standard deviation. You just need to know how to use the calculator, which is I'm going to do using the next example, right? So with that said is that you're going to need the following, right? So you're going to need your what? You're going to take out your calculator, right? So to find your standard deviation, you're going to do the following. You're going to say what? You're going to first press mode, right? So you're going to press mode, which is this one. Then after pressing mode, you're going to pick option 3 where it says stats, right? So it differs with some calculators, right? When you say mode, stats is number 2. But what you're picking stats. Just know the fact that you're picking stats, right? So you're going to pick stats, which is going to be what? Which is going to be option number 2. Option number 3 in this calculator. So it's going to be 3, right? Then you're going to pick only one variable, right? So you're going to pick 1. Then now you're going to put in your data. So the first one is 44, right? So you're going to say 44, then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 49, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 52, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 62, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 53, right? Then you're going to say equals to, so we add 53, right? Then you're going to say 48, right? Then you're going to say equals to, right? Then you're going to say 54, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 49, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 46, then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say the last one, which is 51, then you're going to say equals to. So now I check whether did I do everything. So I have 51. So first I check how many times are there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I see the fact that I have 10, right? And I recheck did I punch everything okay. So I have 51, I have 46, I have 49, I have 54, I have 48, I have 53, I have 62, right? I have 52, I have 49, then I have 44, right? So after doing that, you're going to say what? You're going to say, so then you're going to say AC, right? You're cleaning up everything. So you're going to say AC. Then you're going to say shift, right? Then you're going to go to 1. Do you see the fact that the 1 has stats on it? Then you're going to say 1, right? Then you're going to pick option 4. So you're going to press 4. Then after pressing option 4, you're going to pick this one. This one is called standard deviation 3, right? So you're going to pick 3. So when you pick 3, you're going to say equals to. You're going to get that your answer is what? It's going to be this follow. So meaning that your standard deviation here, right? So your standard deviation, right? Deviation is going to be equals to 4, what? 4,75, right? And to find your variance is us squaring your standard deviation. So to find the variance is basically equals to what? To 4,5 all squared, right? So that's how you find your variance. So that's going to be 4,75 all squared, right? So your your variance here is going to be equals to what? It's going to be equals to 22,5 6, right? So again, is that just to add extra notes, is that to find if you have your variance, right? if you have your variance, let's say it's equals to 10, then to find your standard deviation, which is I'm going to call it as D, is equals to the square root of what? Of 10. So your variance is, your standard deviation is the square root of your variance, right? So that's all I wanted to say. So now we're going to talk about the range and the interquartile range, right? So the range is taking the maximum value and taking the minimum value minus the minimum value, meaning you need to rearrange your data from smallest to biggest, right? Then your interquartile range is basically finding what? Your Q1 and your Q3. So it's going to be Q3 minus Q1, right? And how do we find our Q1 and Q3? Is by using this formula, right? So now let's do a question where we find our range and our interquartile range, right? So the first one says determine the range. So remember the fact that we need to arrange our data from smallest to biggest, right? So let's check whether it's arranged already. So it's 1, 2, 5. So it's going to be 1, 5, 1, so this is 2, 5, right? So here it's basically 1, 2, 5. This is 1, 5. This is 2, 5, right? This is 2, 5 again. So this is 2, 5. This is 3, 1. This is what? 3, 2, right? 3, 2. Then this one is 4, 1. Then this one is 4, 2, 5. Then this one is 4, 7, 5. Then is 4, 8, right? Then it looks like everything is in order. It is rearranged, right? So with that said, is that I don't even need to rewrite this because everything is from smallest to biggest, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the range. Remember with the range, it's going to be what? It's going to be, the range is going to be equals to what? It's going to be equals to the maximum minus the minimum, right? So that's going to be equals to the maximum is this one, which is 5, 1, right? Minus the minimum, which is this one, which is 1, 2, 5. So let's find that. It's going to be 5.1 minus 1.25. So you're going to get your answer as being what? As being equals to 3, 3.8, 5, right? So that's your range. So your interquartile range, right, is going to be equals to Q3 minus Q1, right? So what's Q3? So from the formula, this formula, we're finding the location. This formula is to find the location, is not the actual term, right? So it's what? Q1, let's start with the Q1. Q1 is equals to 1 over 4, open bracket in. So how many terms are there? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 12. So in here is equals to 12. So it's going to be 12 minus 1. Then it's going to be plus 1. So you're going to do that. So it's going to be 1 over 4, right? Open bracket, you're going to have 12 minus 1. That's going to be plus 1, which is going to give you what? Which is going to give you 3, 3.75, right? So the location of Q1, right, it's at 3.75. So where is that, right? So it's going to be, let's find that, right? So I'm going to do it in another color. So let's highlight. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, right? Then 0.75, it needs to be somewhere here, right? So since this is even numbers, so it's going to be between 2.5 and 2.5, right? And the reason why is because of its even numbers. So my Q1, right, is going to be in between these two, right? Because of my set is even numbers. So my Q1 is basically equals to 2.5 plus another 2.5, right? Divided by what? Divided by 2. So that's going to give me what? So that's going to give me Q1 is equals to 2 comma 5, right? So now let's find Q3. So Q3 is equals to 3 over 4, right? Then this is going to be 12 minus 1 plus 1. So let's do that. So it's going to be what? 3 over 4, right? Then that's going to be what? That's going to be equals to 9, comma 25. So it's great. It's going to be in between 10 and 9, right? Because of this 2, 5. And the reason why here it's between 3 and 4 is because of this 7.5. This decimal part makes us meaning it needs us to take 2 numbers, right? I hope that makes sense. So now we're finding Q3. So it's going to be what? It's going to be the following. So let me just take the highlighter. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And 10. The reason why we're taking 10 because of I need this last 2 numbers because it's even. Then I'm going to divide them by 2. So it's going to be Q3 is equals to 4,75 plus 4.8. That divided by 2. So let's do that. It's going to be 4.75 plus 4.8, right, divided by 2. So I'm going to get it as being what? As being Q3 is equals to 4,775, right? So now your interquartile range is going to be equals to what? To Q3 minus Q1, right? So it's going to be what? It's going to be 4,77, right? 5 minus 2.5, right? So we say 4.775 minus 2.5. We're going to get our answers be what? As being equals to 2,275. And you are done finding the range and the interquartile range. Do the 5-number summary, right? With the 5-number summary, you need your minimum, your first quartile range, so meaning this is Q1, right? Your second quartile range, so your median, which is also known as Q2, right? Your third quartile, which is Q3, then your maximum, right? So this one represents, if this one is the maximum, this one is Q3, Q2, Q1, and your what? And your minimum, right? So that is your 5-number summary. So let's do an example that's dealing with the 5-number summary, right? It says draw a box and whisk diagram for the following data, right? So we're going to need the following. We're going to need your interquartile. You're going to need your maximum, your minimum. So number 1, remember the fact that we're going to need your maximum. Let's start with your minimum, right? This is your minimum. So it's going to be equals to 1,25. We're going to need your maximum, right? Which is going to be this one, which is 5.1, right? Then we're going to need Q1. If you notice the data is the same, we already calculated Q1 is 2.5, right? It's 2.5. Then we're going to need Q2. Q2, you can find it, the location of Q2 is basically 1 over 2, right? Then it's going to be what? It's going to be using this formula. Remember this formula, the location of Q1. So the formula for Q2 is going to be what? It's going to be n minus 1 here, right? Then we're going to add a plus 1. So it's going to be plus 1. So this is us finding the location of Q2. So this is location of Q2, right? Or you can find it the way we find what? The way we find median. So let me just show you doing like this and using the median and show you the fact that you can basically find it using 2 ways, right? So with this one, it's going to be equals to what? To 1 over 2. Open bracket is going to be what? We know the fact that n was equals to how many terms? 12 terms. So we know the fact that n is equals to 12. So it's going to be 12 minus 1. Then it's going to be plus 1, right? So it's going to be 1 divided by 2. Then open bracket is going to be 12 minus 1 then you're going to say +1. So your location is going to be 6.5. Remember, because of the decimal, it means the fact that our Q2, right, our median is going to be what? It's going to be the 6th term and the 2nd term, and the 7th term is determined because of we have a decimal, right? We have the 0.5. So from the data, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, right? So Q2 is going to be equals to what? To 3,2 plus 4.1, right? And that's going to be divided by what? That's going to be divided by 2. Therefore, Q2 is equals to what? Is equals to 3.2 plus 4.1 divided by 2, which is going to give you the following, which is 3,65. So this is going to be 3,65. So that's going to be your Q2. So your Q2 is going to be 3,65. So here, if we took the way I said it, where it's n divided by 2, which is going to be 12 divided by what? Divided by 2, which is going to be 6, right? So I said you count this direction 6, then this direction 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see the fact that you land here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You land here. So you are still going to get the same value, right? So now Q3, we already calculated it, right? We found it as 4,775. So it's going to be 4,775, right? Then now we have what? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have all the numbers, right? So then you're going to draw a number line, right? So now before we draw the number line, we need to determine what is the distance between our maximum and minimum and the interval in between. Do you see the fact that we have 1, Q2 is like 2 point something, 3, 4. So we can do our number line in terms of 2s. So it can be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. But starting at, because of our minimum is 1,25, we can start at 0. Then we're going to say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Because our interval needs to be equal, right? And they should be like a little bit space. So it's going to be a number line now. Ooh, this number line is going to look very horrible. So it's going to be a number line. Trying to trace this. So I said I'm starting at 0, so I'm going to say 0. Then I'm going to say 2, 4, 6, 8. Then I'm ending at 10. Didn't need this space today. Then now we know the fact that the minimum is what? Is 1.2. It's going to be 1.2 something, right? So 1 is here. So 1 is going to be somewhere here, right? Then 1.2 something is going to be somewhere here. So it's going to be somewhere here. So I'm just going to say this, and this is going to give us the minimum, right? Then Q2 is what? Q2, let's go to maximum, right? So maximum is 5 point something. So it's 5 point something. So, okay, this, I need more than the space that I did. So let's do this. Because it's going to be very packed together and we're not going to see it properly. So what I'm going to do is like this. It's going to be because I need to see properly the data. So this is, if this is 0, right, then I'm going to say 1, 2, right, 3, 4, right, that's going to be 5, 6, right, 7, 8, right, that's going to be 9, 10, right? So as I said, the fact that the minimum is going to be here because it's 1 point something, so it's going to be here. So this is the minimum. Then the maximum, right, is going to be somewhere here, which is 5. So it's 5.1, so it's going to be somewhere here. So this will give us the maximum, right? Then now we're going to draw Q1, Q2, and Q3. So with Q1, it's going to be 2.5. So it's going to be legit. It's going to be 2.5. So it's going to be somewhere here. So it's going to be somewhere here. Then I'm just going to draw a straight line there, right? is 2.5. Then with Q, with Q2, right, it's 3.65. So 3 is here, 6.5 is somewhere. We know the fact that this is going to be 3, then this is 3.5, then 6.5. It needs to be somewhere here. So this is going to be a line, right? Q1, Q2, and Q3 gets lines, right? Then you're going to have Q3 is 4.77. So 4 is here. Then 0.77, it's closer to 5. So it's going to be somewhere here. Do you see that? So this is how it's going to look. Then connected with the maximum and minimum. So this is your box and width diagram. Now we're going to talk about what you call the skewness and symmetry of the box and width diagram, right? Or the histogram. Do you see the fact that we have a histogram or the box or width, right? They can make you comment on the histogram if they make you plot it, or if it's already plotted, or they can make you comment on the what? On the box and width diagram, right? So with this one, we see the fact that when, we see the fact that when most of the data, do you see the fact that most of the data is where? It's on the right. It's on the right-hand side, right? And the right-hand side is the positive side, right? Remember the fact that if you have a number line, right, this side is the positive values and this side is the negative, right? Where it's divided by 0. If there's more data on the right, we're going to say what? We're going to say 1, it's skewed to the right. So you could remember the fact that more data on the right, meaning skewed to the right. Or you can say that it's positively skewed, right? So if there's more data on your right, do you see the fact that even in the box whisker, there's more data here, right? And even here, there's more data on the right? Now, if it's symmetrical, it's that your data is distributed equally, right? Do you see the fact that the data this side and the data this side is the same thing? Do you see that? So this is going to be what's symmetrical, right? If now there is more data on the left, right, we're going to say it's skewed to the left, right, or it's positively skewed. So do you see the fact that there's more data on the left, right? So with that knowledge, we can go back and comment on the box and width diagram that we sketched. Do you see the fact that from our diagram, we see the fact that this is mostly what? Positively skewed. You do not comment on this. This is not what you're looking at when you comment. You comment on this, right? Do you see the fact that this looks symmetrical? So, right? So this one, we're going to say what? In our data is going to be what? Symmetrical, right? So it's going to be symmetrical. So that's how you would comment on the data set if they make you draw a box-width diagram or you are given a histogram. 2, group data, right? So in group data, they might ask you to find the mean, right? So how do you find the mean of a group data? This is the formula, right? So basically, it's going to be the sum of the last column, right, divided by the sum of the frequency, right? So now let's do this question, right? So you are given this range, right? And they want you to determine the mean, right? So how you're going to do it is that this can be also called the what? So this is the range. It can be called anything, right? The interval, they can call it anything, to be honest, right? If you're given something in the form of this and they want you to calculate the mean, just know the fact that you're using group data to determine the mean. So first, what you need to do, you need to find the midpoint, right? So how do you find the midpoint? It's basically adding the first 2 terms, dividing them by 2. So this is going to be 130 plus 140, right, divided by 2, right? Then this is going to be what? Equals to, if you say 130, right, plus 140, and that you divide by 2, you're going to get your value as 135, right? So now, if you say 140 now, plus 150 divided by 2, you're going to get the fact that this is 145, right? If you say 150 now, plus 160 divided by 2, you're going to get your value as what? As 155. If you will say 160, right, plus 170 divided by 2, so you're going to get your value as 165. And if you say the last one, which is 170 plus, right, 180, and that divided by 2. So if you do that, so if you say 170 plus 180, right, divided by 2, you're going to get your value as 175, right? So that is the midpoint. So this M here, right, represents the midpoint. So let me just say midpoint, right? So this M multiplies, what you guys represents the midpoint. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take a midpoint and multiply it by the frequency. So it's going to be 7 multiplied by 135, right? So it's going to be 135. So it's going to be 7 multiplied by 135, which is you're going to get 900 and what? You're going to get 945, right? Then you're going to say the following. You're going to say 5 multiplied by 145, right? So you're going to say 5 multiplied by 145, which is you're going to get 700 and what? 725, right? So now you're going to say 7, right? Which is the frequency, multiplied by the midpoint, which is 55. Then you're going to say 9 multiplied by 165. Then the last one is going to be 2 multiplied by 175. So let's do that. It's going to be 7 multiplied by 155, right? Which is going to be 1,885, 1,000. Then it's going to be 9 multiplied by 165 is going to give you 1485. Then when you say 2 multiplied by 175, it's going to give you 350. Right? So it's going to give you 350. So what is the mean? It's going to be the total of this column, right? Meaning adding all these terms, then the total divided by the total of this column. Right, so let's do that. So what is the total of this column? It's basically going to be adding them together, these values, right? So it's going to be 945 plus 725 plus 1085 plus 1485 plus 350. And you're going to get your value as what? As being 4590. Right? Then now let's add up the frequency. It's going to be 7 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, right? Plus 2. So it's going to be 7 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 2. You're going to get your total as being 30 here. Right? So now your mean is equals to what? Is equals to 459 divided by what? Divided by 30. So that's going to give you what? So you're going to say 459 divided by 30, which is going to be equals to, your mean is going to be equals to 153. And that's how you would find a mean of a group data. Now we're going to move to finding the standard deviation of what? Finding the standard deviation of a group data, right? So with finding the standard deviation of a group data, you're going to need actually all the columns of what you needed in the mean. Do you see the fact that I filled in the midpoint? I filled in when we say M, remember M is the midpoint, right? So this is the midpoint, right? M represents the midpoint, right? Is that I filled in the midpoint, then frequency multiplied by the midpoint. I already did it when I found the mean. Then also I filled in the X bar, which means the mean. Do you remember the fact that our mean was 153, right? Already filled it in. So now to find the standard deviation, we need to do what? We need to take our midpoint minus our mean. So here's going to be what? It's going to be, so this one is going to be equals to what? It's going to be 135, right? Minus 153. And that's going to be what? It's going to be 135 minus 153, which gives us what? Which gives us negative 18 here, right? So here's going to be what? It's going to be 145, right? Minus 153. So that's going to give us what? So now it's going to be 145, which is going to be negative 8, right? Then here's going to be 155 minus 153, and that's going to give us, so let me just write everything's going to be 165 minus 153. Then that's going to give us, then the last one is going to be 175, right? Minus what? Minus 153. So here it's going to be 155, right? So it's going to give us 2 here. Then at 165 minus the mean, it's going to give us 12, right? Then we're going to have 75, right? The last one, which is going to give us equals to 22, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to square all the terms. So it's going to be negative 18 squared. So I need space. So let me just erase this. So it's going to be this term. So it's going to be negative 18 squared. Then here's going to be negative 8 squared, right? Then here's going to be 2 squared. Then here's going to be what? It's going to be 12 squared. Then the last one is going to be 22 squared, right? So here's going to be negative 18 squared. So you're going to have negative 18. Then all squared. So you're going to have 324, right? Then you're going to have what? 8 squared. Negative 8 squared, which is we're going to get as what? As 64, right? Then you're going to have the following, which is what? Which is 2 squared, which is you're going to have as 4, right? Then you're going to have what? You're going to have 12 squared, which is you're going to have 144, right? Then you're going to have the last one, which is 22 squared, which is going to have as what? As being 484, right? So now what you're going to do is you're going to take the ones that you squared and you're going to multiply them by the frequency. So it's going to be 7 multiplied by what? By 324. Then here's going to be 5 multiplied by 64, right? Then there is going to be 7 multiplied by 4. Then there's going to be 9 multiplied by 144. Then the last one is going to be 2 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 400 and what? And 84, right? So you're going to get the following. When you do that, let's calculate that. So you're going to have 7 multiplied by 324. You're going to get 2268, right? Then you're going to have 5 multiplied by 64, which is you're going to have 320, right? Going to have 7 multiplied by 4, which is you're going to have 28, right? You're going to have 9 multiplied by 4, in 144, which is going to give you what? 1,296. Then you're going to have 2 multiplied by 484, which is you're going to get 900 and what? 968, right? So now remember to find out what the variance is going to be. What? It's going to be the sum of the last column. So we're going to add this together. So I'm going to add this together, right? Divided by this one. Divided by the total of this one. And that one we already know it's 30. So this one is 30. So let's add this one, right? It's going to be 2268 plus what? Plus 320, right? Plus 28, right? Plus 1296. Then it's going to be plus 968, right? So you're going to find your answer as being what? As being 488880, right? So that's what you're going to get. So therefore, our variance, right, is equals to what? Is equals to this one. So it's going to be 488 divided by what? Divided by 30, which is going to be equals to 4880, right, divided by 30. Your variance is going to be equals to 162.67. But we're looking for standard deviation. So standard deviation is going to be the square root of this. So it's going to be like this. So it's going to be the square root of that. So your answer is going to be what? It's going to be equals to 12.75. So that's how you will find variance and standard deviation of a group data. Now we're going to move to Ogive, right? We're going to basically do the table for Ogive. then we're going to sketch the graph, and I'm going to tell you on how to sketch the graph. So first thing first, we need to find the cumulative frequency, right? To find the cumulative frequency, what you do is that the first term, you just write it exactly. So this arrow means you write it exactly, right? Then to get the next term is going to be what? It's going to be this term. So it's going to be 7 plus this term. So it's going to be 5, which is going to be equals to what? So when you say 7 plus 5, it's going to be equals to 12, right? Then to get this term is going to be 12 plus this term. So 7 is going to be equals to what? You're going to say 12 plus 7. You're going to get your answer is 19, right? Then for this term here, right, the cumulative frequency for this one is going to be 19 plus what? 9, and you're going to get your answer is what? If you say 19 plus 9, you get your answer is 28, right? And then the last one is going to be 28 plus 2 is going to be equals to 30. To know the fact that your cumulative frequency is correct is that if you add up your frequency, you know the fact that this column is 30, right? So this total, so the total frequency, right, is equals to the last term of the cumulative frequency, right? So now we have established that now we need what? We need points for the ogive, right? We need the points on the ogive. So how do we do that? Now we need what you call this points, right? So this one is always going to be 130 and 0. So always this one, the y, right, is going to be 0. Then this one is going to be what? It's going to be 140 related to this 7. So it's going to be 7. Then this one is going to be 150. So we no longer look at this side, we look at this side, right? So it's going to be 150 and 12. Right, then it's going to be what? It's going to be 160 and 19. Then here it's going to be what? It's going to be 170 and 28. And the last one is going to be 180 and what? And 30. Right? So knowing that, we're going to go and sketch it. So we know the fact that here is going to be 0, right? Then here, remember, it's 0, it's 130, so it's going to be 0, right? Then it's going to be 130 here. So it's going to be 0, it's going to be 130. Then here it's going to be 140, 150, 160, 170. And I think it ends at 180, right? Then here on the y-axis, we need what? We see the fact that it's 0, 7, 12, 19. Then it's 28, then it's 30, right? See the fact that the smallest is 0 and the greatest one is 28. So we need an interval. So if we say 30 divided by 2, we're going to need 15 parts, right? So let's check whether you have 15. So it's going to be what? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we don't have 15. So meaning let's divide it by 3 now. So it's going to be 3, we need 10 parts. So it's going to be 3, 6. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 3. So it's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, right? Then it's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, ne? 15, 18, then you're going to say 21, then you're going to say 24, right? Then you're going to say 27, then you're going to say 30, right? So that's what you have, right? So we see the fact that the first point is 0, it's 130 and 1. So it means the fact that it's just on the x-axis. So our point is here, right? Then the next point is what? It's 140 and 7. So where is 140 is here and 7 is going to be in between what? In between 6 and 9. So it's going to be somewhere here. That's where our 7 is going to be. It's going to be somewhere here, right? So let me just put it like this. Then we're going to have a 150 and 12. So it's going to be 150 and 12 is going to be this one, right? Then we're going to have 160 and 19. So it's going to be 160. Then 19 is in between 18 and 21. So it's going to be between here. So 18 and 21. So it's going to be 19 is going to be here, right? Then we're going to have 170 and 28. So 170 and 28. So it's going to be 28 is between, or what you call this, is between 27 and 30. So it's going to be somewhere there, right? And the last one is 180 and 30, which is going to be somewhere here, right? Connect the points. So it's going to be like this. So it's going to be like this. And that completes you getting, what you call this? That completes you drawing your ogive. But now I actually want to talk about the median, right? So with finding the median, you know the fact that you need n divided by 2, right? That's the median. So here we know the fact that the total number here is 30. So it's going to be the same as 30 divided by what? Divided by 2, which is going to be equals to what? Which is going to be equals to, when you say 30 divided by 2, it's going to be equals to 15, right? So now you need to say which interval, right, gives us the median, right? So to know which interval gives us the median is that you need to look at your cumulative frequency, right? And see where 15 lies. We see the fact that here it's from where 15 doesn't lie here because of, do you see the fact that here it's 7? That's less than 15, right? 12 is also less than 15. Then 19 is the one that can have 15 in it. Do you see that? So this interval here, so meaning that this interval here, right, is going to be the one that has what? That has the median, right? So here to write your median, you would say the following. You would say that the median, right, is equals to what? Is equals to from 150 is less than and equals to h and 160. And I'm going to show you on the ogive how to see it, right? I want to talk about the mode 2 here, right? How would you find the mode? The mode is the number that's most frequent. So the mode here is going to be this one, meaning your answer is going to be what? It's going to be 170 greater than and equals to, no, yeah, it's going to be 160, sorry. It's going to be 160. Going to be the second last, so it's going to be 160, right? Is greater than and equals to h, then it's going to be 170, right? So that's how you find the median and mode. So to show you here how to find the median, I said the fact that it's 15, right? So here on the number line, where is 15? 15 is here. So you're going to just draw your dotted line and do like this, right? And you're going to go down like this. Do you see the fact that your median is in between 150 and 160, which is exactly what I said, right? So that's how you would do it. We're going to do linear regression, right? With linear regression, you need the following. You need this formula, which is a plus bx, right? But to find your a plus bx, you're going to need your calculator, right? So we're going to take out our calculator. So let's do an example of linear regression. So the question says, in the table below, we have record of maintenance cost in rands compared to the years of appliance in months, right? So we have the data for 5 appliance. Determine the equation of the least regression line, right? So that's what we're going to do. And also, I'm going to touch on the correlation. So we're going to find both the equation and also we're going to find the what? We're going to find the R. Then we're going to talk about how to comment with it, right? So what you're going to do is that you're going to take your calculator, right? You're going to press mode. Then after pressing mode, you're going to press 3, right? Then you're not going to pick one variable, but you're going to pick the one that says AB plus A plus BX, right? Do you see the fact that that's exactly like the linear regression equation, right? Then you're going to press 2. Then now you're going to put, for your X, you're going to put the age. So in our case, it's going to be 5. Then you're going to say equals to. Then you're going to say 10, right? Then you're going to say equals to. You're going to say 15. Then you're going to say equals to. You're going to say 20. Then you're going to say equals to. Then you're going to say 3. Then you're going to say equals to, right? then you're going to press here to go to the Y. Then you're going to press going on top because you want to start at top. So you're going to start here. So you're going to say 90, right? So then you're going to say equals to, then it's going to be 140, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 250, then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 300, right? Then you're going to say equals to, then you're going to say 380, right? Then you're going to say equals to, right? Then after doing that, you're going to just check your variables are correct. We see the fact that for Y, we have 380, 300, we have 250, we have 140, and we have 90, right? Which corresponds with what? With 5, 10, 15, 20, then the last one is 3. So that's sorted, right? So now you're going to say AC, then you're going to say shift, right? Then you're going to say stats, right? So now you're going to pick what? You're going to pick option number 5. So you're going to say 5. Then do you see the fact that you have A, you have B, right? So you're going to pick A, right? Then you're going to say equals to. So you're going to get your value for A as being what? As being 200 and what? 200 and it's going to be 208.14, right? So now you're going to say again, this team up. That's going to be your A, right? Then you're going to say shift. Then you're going to say 1. Then you're going to pick 5. Then you're going to say 2, right? Then you're going to say equals to, right? Then you're going to get that your B is equals to what? It's equals to 2,25, right? Then you're going to say AC again. Then you're going to say shift. Then you're going to say 1. Then you're going to pick option number 5 because I said I want to talk about R. So we're going to get R already. So even in the test, the minute they ask you about the equation, just get R because it makes it easy because of not even chances. They always ask you to comment on R, right? So we see that R is equals to what? It's 0,13, right? So that's your R. So that's your values. That's the values that we found, right? So now remember that the least regression formula is this. So it's equals to Y is equals to A, right? Plus BX. So this is going to be plus BX. So let's substitute our A and B. So it's going to be A is equals to 208,13 plus 2,25. Then this is going to be X. And that's how you find the formula. It's just like that, right? So now we're going to comment on the what? We're going to comment on R. So this is the table on how to comment on R. So it's that when R is equals to 0, meaning if we calculate and we've got a 0 value, is that there is no correlation, right? The strength of it is that there is no correlation, meaning there is no relationship. Correlation means is there a relationship between my X and Y, what you call this, my X and Y values, right? In our case, yeah, so if there isn't any relationship, right, is that there is no correlation, meaning R is going to be equals to 0. Then if R is between 0 and 0,25, we see the fact that that's a weak, right? That's a positive. So here, if it's between 0 and 0,25, that's a what? That's a very weak positive correlation if your answer is positive. But if your answer is from -25 till 0, then you're going to say that's a negative, what? Negative correlation, right? So now if you get 0,25, right, or between 0,25 and 0,5, we say that's a weak positive if your answer of R is positive. So you're going to say it's a positive, it's a weak positive correlation, right? And here, if it's negative, you're just going to say it's a negative, it's a weak negative correlation, right? So now, if it's between 0,5 and 0,75, it is moderate, right? So we're going to say that's a moderate positive correlation. If it's negative, it's going to be a negative. It's going to be a moderate negative correlation, right? So if it's between 0,75 and 0,9, it's going to be a strong positive correlation. If your R is positive, Then if it is negative, it's going to be a strong negative correlation, right? Then if it's between 0.9 and 1, right, not including 1, it's going to be a very strong positive correlation if the value of R is positive. But if it is negative, it's going to be a very strong negative correlation. Then the last one, if R is equal to 1, then we're going to see the fact that that's a perfect correlation, right? So now looking at what we just found, we found R as being what? As being our R value was 0.13. Where does it lie? Do you see the fact that 0.13? It lies here. Do you see that? So to comment on this one, it's telling you what, since R is positive, your answer here would be what? Will be a very weak, right? A very weak what? Positive, because you need to state that it's positive. Positive, then you're going to see what? Correlation. So that's how you would comment. And that's how you would do the Lies's integration and also the correlation.